We're
So
at,
David, we're at the table, okay, Dave?
Mhm.
All right, you finished your presentation. You asked me, am I ready to move forward? I am not ready to move forward. I'm not ready to move forward with you at this time, David.
Okay. Do I ask a question?
Well, we're at the table, so now you have to figure out why I'm not ready to move forward.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Seller, what is stopping you from deciding to hire me to do this?
Well, there are a couple of requirements that I have. Number one is I don't want a lockbox on it, and I don't want it in MLS, and I don't want a sign in my yard. And
Okay.
if you have a magnetic sign on your car, I don't want you to drive in my driveway with it.
Okay. So you don't want a lockbox, no sign, no MLS, and I can't drive in your driveway.
Right.
Okay, got it. Now, if we can come to an agreement on all of these, right? Are you willing to move forward?
I'm going to pause you just for a second because we're going to do some teaching here. Now, you're following the model of isolation.
Mhm.
Now, probably, and I'm not saying that's a bad question. I'm just going to take a step back. If someone lays that kind of thing on you all at one time, and maybe they have 50 things, it's not a bad question to ask. But this being a mastery level conversation, could you have asked another question?
Yeah. I feel like I could have maybe, I don't know, that probed for why.
Here's the thing I want you guys to know. I want you to have muscle memory. Is it when a seller has you over there to sell their house and they basically say, I want you to sell my house, but I don't want you to let anybody know about it. Would that be time to maybe take a step back and ask a few more questions before you ask that question,
Yeah.
before you go to the trial close? You all see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because it's kind of like, I mean, I really gave you the kitchen sink. So ask a different question. I paused. You're only at 12 seconds. So go from there.
Okay. So no MLS, no sign, and no lockbox. Got it. Mr. Seller, I want to make sure we're on the same boat. Do you want to sell your house?
I'm going to pause you again. I mean, I think that's kind of a very human response. So you guys can interact. I mean, that's even you might be acting, but but the way you're responding is conversational. So I give you a thumbs up. Well, yeah. Well, of course I want to sell my house. Why do you think you're here?
Right. I'm hoping I'm here because we both want to get this house sold, right?
Absolutely. I got to get to Sandusky.
All right, great. So if we can't put a lockbox on it, can't put on the MLS, and we can't put a sign in the yard, how do you really expect, realistically, to get this house sold?
Well, I mean, you know a lot of people, and I figured you could let people know. Just talk to your real estate friends. You got a good database, I'm sure. You've been in business a while. I've seen your signs, so I don't want all that stuff going on.
Yeah, no, for sure. And word of mouth is a really good way to market a house. However, if
All right, hang on, guys. What's he missing? He's missing something. He's asking a good question. What's he missing?
What's the significance of that
Yeah.
to you? What's the importance of
Yes.
that?
oh, motivation.
Well, motivation is part of it,
Motivation.
but why am I saying I don't
Clarity.
want all of that?
Mm, mm. Okay.
All right, so hang on, David. Who wants to pick up the role play from there?
May I ask?
Go ahead.
Denny, if I may ask, I'm curious, what has you um what has you concerned about the sign, the lockbox, etc.?
Well, I don't want my neighbors to know a house is for sale because you know how nosy neighbors are. So that's number one. And I don't want strange people walking in my house with a lockbox. So there you go. And MLS, all kinds of creeps are in MLS. I don't want creeps coming into my house.
Okay. Hey, Denny, if there were a way to, or are you open to having people who are qualified, ready, willing, and able to purchase your home, come to see your home?
Right, I want qualified, not creeps. I don't
Okay.
want my creepy neighbors to know either.
Well, Denny, I've got some good news for you. If you're like most people, you only want the people that are able to purchase the home to come into the home. And if we can assure that's the case, if we can vet people before they come into your home to make sure they're ready, willing, and able buyers, is that something that you would be open to?
Yeah, you got my listing. I just don't want it in MLS. I don't want to sign it on a lockbox. I'm ready to roll. I'm very
Okay.
motivated.
And just to be clear, you don't want those things because you don't want non-qualified people in your home, right?
Well, I've never said qualified. That was your word. I said creeps. All right. All right. Who wants to take it from there?
What's a creep like to you, Denny?
Well, you know, creepy people.
Oh, I
All
don't
right,
know.
all right. Well, you know, people that are like nosy. All right. So you're asking good questions. Keep going. Well, I don't, you know, people that have no interest in buying.
Well, yeah, as a real estate professional, I don't show homes to people that are not qualified or interested. So I wouldn't be wasting my time, their time, or your time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What about the lockbox that scares you?
I just said I don't want people coming in that, you know, that unannounced, the middle of the night, all that other stuff.
Well, you do. I don't know if you're aware, but we do have a Bluetooth device that only real estate agents can open. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, but then I don't want them in. I don't want them coming in the middle of the night
What makes you think they'll come in the middle of the night?
because they're creeps.
Is that what creeps do?
Can
All
I?
right, so I'll stop it. Maybe this is a little bit outlandish, but the issue is I've had a number of people say they don't want to sign in the yard. How many people have had that? And the reason is they don't want their neighbors to know. Now, so from a practical standpoint, so I'm just going to go to you, Sean, because you're the last one to speak. Let's say that was your that was your objection. I say, okay, so you don't want your neighbors to know. Why don't you want your neighbors to know,
Yeah.
Sean?
Oh, am I the seller now?
You're a seller now.
I don't get along with my neighbors, and I heard them talking about trying to sell their home, so I don't want to be in competition with them.
Right. Now, a couple different things. What if your neighbors knew somebody that wanted to buy your home? You want to say no to that?
No,
Okay.
not necessarily.
And one more thing, you know what my experience has taught me?
What's that?
If your neighbors are like most neighbors and kind of a little bit, you can call them nosy, but they're kind of
Nosy.
maybe concerned when cars are coming into the driveway and maybe two cars, because real estate agents don't bring people around in their car much anymore. So when two cars show up, a professional looking person gets out with two other people, and the professional person basically lets them into the home. And this happens several times during the week or day. What do you think they're going to conclude?
The neighbors?
Yes.
Well, the house is probably for sale.
Right.
Yeah.
So now how I'm asking this, and here's the other question to ask. Okay, so they're already going to know what's for sale probably in about 13 minutes because of that.
Right.
Weigh that with the fact that now imagine someone just been transferred to town. They have to buy a home in the weekend. They're driving their neighborhood and they're looking at signs and they don't see yours. Which pain is greater? Trying to keep your neighbors from knowing and they're going to know anyway, or missing out on a buyer? You see, that's
The
probably how
latter.
I would handle that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was being a little bit weird with the lockbox, but I tell you what, I'll tell you how I've done that before. People that typically did not want a lockbox, I don't even know if you call it that anymore, key safe or whatever.
Yeah.
They're concerned of security.
Right.
So if there's not a lockbox, then what does that mean? Well, then that means that they're going to have to drive to the agent's going to drive to your office to get the key, which there'd be a fat chance that ever happening. Or guess what? You're going to be there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is this home occupied? Because you said I don't want someone coming in the middle of the night. Well, are you there or is the house empty?
No, it's occupied.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to give you this idea, and Louise will go on to the next one. I've had that happen at least every year. Somebody's like that. And so what I've set up was what I call a dry lockbox. Now I don't want to be there, and I don't want them to miss a potential showing because I can't be there. So I give them, Sean, I'm going to give you a key safe with the key inside. I'm not going to put it on your doorknob or on your spigot or on your patio furniture. It's going to be inside your house. Therefore, no one's going to come in the middle of the night because it won't be on their door. Not the fact that, I mean, ours don't open in the middle of the night anyway. However, if you happen to step out or be gone, you're at work or whatever, and somebody makes an appointment that you approve, when you leave, set the lockbox on the outside your door. Now they have access to your home. We won't miss a showing, and no one's coming in the middle of the night. Will that meet your needs? I don't know
Absolutely.
how
That's
often you
nice.
run into that, but I've had to use that a number of times.
That's happened once so far, but it's mainly no sign or I've never had anyone say not the MLS. So
No, I kind of threw that in there because I
yeah,
thought David could handle it.
yeah,
All right, who's
that's
next?
good.
Daniel is next. He'd like to call an expired on the phone with a surprise objection, medium level of difficulty.
Oh, there we're going on the phone again. Matt, are you here?
I have no experience at the table, so we could try
Well, this is what we're here for. I'll tell you
yeah.
what, I want to hear your call. You're going to call Louise. Let's hear it. Then you're going to get the appointment. Then you're going to be at the table next. Ready?
Okay.
Go,
Got it.
Daniel.
Ring ring. Hi
Hello?
Louise. Hi
Yes.
Louise. Hi
Hi.
Louise. My name's Daniel. I don't mean to put a hitch in your Friday, but I'm a realtor and I was calling about your property at 123 Street. Is that still available?
It is, yes. Come on over, bring
Okay.
your buyer.
Oh, got it. No, it's a FISBO. So you're a FISBO then.
No, no,
Oh,
I'm
okay. Okay. Are you working with the realtor currently on selling the property?
we um we were, and I'm gathering that our contract ended because you're like maybe the 10th person who's called me today, the 10th agent.
Oh, okay. You know what? I am seeing that, and I know that could be really frustrating. Um, get all excited and then
All
you
right, you
start
got the appointment.
participating.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad bull ride. You
Yeah.
know, she's desperate. She needs to sell. You've got the appointment. Now you're over. You've given your listing presentation. All right. And you say, are you ready to move forward? Here you go. Here's your first objection, Louise. Be kind to the young man.
Okay. So we're sitting at the table.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
are you ready to move forward, Louise?
You know, Daniel, I would like to move forward, but I think I should call the other agent back who we had the property listed with before and give them an opportunity.
Okay. Other than the opportunity missed with the other agent, is there anything else stopping us from working together today?
Nice objection, or nice isolation. No, I think that's it.
All right. That's fantastic. What do you think the other agent will do differently this time around?
I don't know. I just feel like we owe them the opportunity to get it right since they did put a lot of time and effort into it the first go around.
Yeah, that's incredibly nice of you to say, and I really don't want to step on any toes. I think the strategy that I'm showing you today should cover a bit of everything. So let me ask you a question. What's your motivation to sell this property? Or maybe we went over this already. So you told me you wanted to get to Orlando in the next 30, 60, hopefully not 90 days. Is that still important to you?
It's very important to us, yeah.
The only thing I'm concerned about is that if you interview the other agent, you may say, oh, what the heck, let's interview another agent, and that's okay. But I'm just scared that that's going to prolong your process and unmotivate you to get to Orlando. So does working with me seem doable to get you to Orlando? Because that's my main objective.
Daniel, we don't have a choice. We have to be in Orlando at that time. It's not an
Right,
option.
right.
All right,
So,
I'm going to stop you,
mhm,
Daniel. By the way, you've got a great presence. You got a great pace, very considerate. I like it. So this is a pause. Now, it's kind of like one of these movies, The Matrix, where you freeze everybody and we can have a conversation. What's her concern? Tell me, anybody know, what is Louise's concern? No, you can't answer it, Louise.
I can't imagine it's
being-
common, but
The
being
the
again?
agent, the other agent, she's concerned that they put so much time into it. She has a carrying concern that they
Yeah.
should have another chance.
Okay, that's right. And is Louise motivated?
Yes.
All right, we always teach in mastery. What's the other side of the coin? All right, I'll say it this way. There's a picture in her mind is she feels obligated to the other agent because of all the time and effort they put into it. The number one question that comes to my mind is, okay, why am I sitting here? If you're going to go back to your old girlfriend, why are we having a malted milkshake? Secondly, what's the picture she's not seeing? If she's wants to go back because of loyalty, what's the other side of that picture? Now, again, we're still paused. She doesn't hear this. I'm talking to everybody. Where is the weak point?
What happens if her home doesn't sell in the next 30 days?
Okay, keep going. Yes. Here's the question. What's the loyalty worth to you? What's more important, your loyalty to your agent or you getting to Orlando? Is it worth getting there 60 days too late? Is it worth selling your house for $60,000 or $20,000 less? You see, this is where the listening comes in. I made a statement this week on Recon, and many of you guys weren't there. I want to make sure I say this again because it was somebody else made a statement that made me have this V8 moment. Listen, all of these conversations and scripts and all these things we have in front of us, particularly when we're making outbound calls, are only good until the seller gives you a crumb or the buyer gives you a crumb. Now that's going to be the path of your conversation. So she's there for loyalty. Now ask her, okay, now I'm going to bring Louise back in. Louise, other than the fact you feel loyal to this agent, is there any other reason why you would go back to something that did not work before?
No,
So what's more important to you? Honoring that loyalty or getting your family to Orlando on time?
we need to get to Orlando on time. It's not an option.
You invited me here for a reason. Did you hear what you needed to hear to feel like I can get you there?
Yes.
How would you like me to make this a win-win?
How would that look?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to honor your relationship with your past agent and let them know and I'm pulling this from a modified past bold conversation. I'm going to let your agent know because I know Sally. I'm going to let her know that you've listed with me. We have it repositioned. I'm going to give her first dibs with anyone she's worked with in the past to be the first one to bring a buyer to your home. How would you like that?
I think that's very kind of you. Let's move forward.
So what do y'all think about that? I'm not saying that's the only way. What do you think of that approach?
The happiest ending I've ever seen with the nicest objection as well. So this is not average for a recon call. It's all very nice. But that was great. My biggest problem is closing because I chit-chatted. We're asking the right amount of questions. So watching you kind of, okay, we're good. Like you like what I presented and you need me. Let's take this opportunity to work together. And I'll include your friend that I know into bringing a buyer. I thought that was really smart.
Any other comments? Notice I didn't cut her in on a referral fee. I'm not giving my money away.
What I notice is that you honor the fact that we're all innately the center of our own worlds. And so, what's more important, honoring this loyalty to this other person or getting you and your family where you want to go, like the contrasting what's most important and what's your loyalty worth.
All right. Awesome. I want to give you another level of understanding here. I am all the way through my day. I am always thinking of analogies for everything. Here's one. I've never said this before, but something similar. All right. So imagine then, you've got one of your children that you're taken to a doctor and your child has not gotten better. would you stay with the same Would you stay with the same doctor out of loyalty, or would you get a second opinion to make your daughter better? Give me 1 second, guys. Now's not a good time.
Yes, we're getting a second opinion, of
wow.
course. It's our baby.
Yeah. There you go. I had housekeeping here. So does that make sense, guys? And it's almost thinking, I don't know exactly what you said there, David or Daniel, a minute ago, that I wasn't nice on recon, but I'm always nice. Are we not doing our sellers a service, you know, to help them see that what's more important, loyalty to someone you don't have a right to be loyal to, or what's important to your family? So that was a good role play. And Daniel, keep it up. We'll get you better at the table. All right, number 3, Louise, who's next?
Okay, the next person is Fan, expired potluck card.
All right, Fan. Guess what? You got me. We're at the table.
Can we go through just like Daniel from the call to the table, if you don't mind?
Okay,
Thank you. Hi, so would it be Denny, would it?
it is.
Hi, this is a fan with Keller Williams Southwest. We've never spoken before. Can I quickly ask you a question before you hang up on me?
Sure.
Your property on Main Street wasn't on the market anymore. Have you completely given up on selling it?
No, I'm hoping to interview an agent. Would you like to come over?
I would.
Now we're done with the call. Can we get to the table?
Okay. I would like it. I have availability tomorrow at 10 or the day after at 5.
How about right now?
Okay. All right.
We're at the table.
After going through the presentation, are we going to move forward today?
Well, no. And by the way, on role play, we never say I'm going to interview another agent, because I want you guys to know that before you walk in. I don't want that to ever surprise you. That's why we never use that as an objection. Well, the other agent said that they would actually sell it for more money and for less commission. Now, because this is mastery, I'm going to give you 2. I don't have time for 2 during the recon, but now you have 2 objections. Let's see if you can juggle 2 balls at one time.
Okay, Danny, thank you for sharing with me. Other than the other agent selling you more money and then drop his commission, what you said about
Less.
like give you a discount on commission. Is there any other reason why we wouldn't be working together?
Again, did I say discount?
No.
The other agent may not have discounted their fee. They just were offering less. This is where I want you to listen. And that could be a significant point. No, there's other than an agent charging less and offering to sell it for more. That's the main difference. Fan, you're a nice guy. I love the fact you love my bird bath, but they said they'd sell it for more with a less fee.
Okay, understood. Danny, before getting to it, let me ask you this: which one of those 2 things are more important to you?
Okay, so if your guys are playing Call of Duty or Candy Crush right now, pay attention. If someone gives you more than 1 objection, Fan's response was beautiful. How do you know? And it's not, you've got 2 people sitting there. It could be 2 or 3 things, right? So again, clarity is power. And so Fan, he asked which one was more important, or what's another way, if they are both could be important, what's another way of asking the question so you know how to attack those things? How about, which one would you like me to cover first? Because the question, I mean, their concerns, well, you don't want to lose your left leg or right leg, or which one is more important to you? I mean, you see, so maybe that is not the right way. Which one would you, all right, so you asked me, which one you want to cover first? All right, well, let's talk about the pricing first, Dan.
Yes, Danny. I mean, based on the CMA that I presented you. Okay. What's the pricing that the other agent presented to you?
Now, isn't that now you're discovering? Well, you know, they said based on my positioning of my bird bath that I could probably get 550.
Okay.
And
Understand.
you're saying that the market is showing 475 as tops.
So Danny, if we can agree on positioning your property at 550, are you agreed to work with me today?
Okay, now again, I'm teaching why I'm doing this. I hope you're not frustrated. Notice he said positioning. Mastery level agents that I train never say pricing. It's always positioning. Now, if you're talking to a for sale by owner, where are you going to price it? Okay, now, all right, so congratulations, he said position, but one thing he did, probably I'd do a little bit differently. He trial closed me on one of the objections. I said there were two. Probably the better way to do that, Fan, would have been, all right, so if we agree to originally position your home at 550, would that satisfy that of concern of yours? Now you can ask the trial close, but I mean, are you assuming then that the fee's not important? I just want you to know that you might have to settle these one at a time. Does that make sense? So then the next logical question, Fan, I'm setting you up. The next logical question. Okay, so now that we've settled on the initial positioning, you said that the other agent said they charged less, correct? I'm going to reverse it, Fan. You are now the seller.
Yeah.
So now here's what I want you to do. Rather than start to handle it, I want you now to ask the trial close. Okay, so then if we can agree on fee, are we moving forward? You see, you can't, going back to the original role play we had with David, I gave him 3 or 4 or 5 things. He said, well, if we can agree on those 50 things, will you hire me? To me, it makes more sense if there's multiple concerns, you knock out the one now. Hey, if we can agree on fee, and we moving forward. Bang. Say yes, now go ahead. Now I'm going to give it back to you, Fan. I've already said yes. If we can agree on fee, we're moving forward. How would you land the plane?
Yes, Danny. I charge 3%, and that's my commission. And what's the other agent's commission?
Okay. Well, yes, I know. That's the concern. They said they charge me 2.
That's
And
a
again,
charge less. Okay.
no set fee. Everybody know that. This is all role play only.
Okay. So again, if we agree on
We've already passed that.
okay. Now let me ask you this, Danny. How's that 2%? No, wrong question. Netting the most money for your property and getting the cheapest commission that you can get, which one is more important to you?
Well, I mean, I think they're related, right? Now that was awkward, but I understand. So what's more important, what you pay in fee or what you net? So got it. I'm going to say they're both important. I thought they're probably linked.
And then if let's say an agent that now, what's the difficulty that you can get the agent to discount his fee?
Okay, that's really. I tell you what, you're getting this at a high level, Fan. And you've been on now about 3 or 4 weeks. You are understanding. Now, again, this English isn't the first language, so he gets a couple things tangled up. So, how many people know where he's going? Louise, where's he going with this? You know where he's going. I don't put you on the spot.
Denny, for clarification, is the 2% that the other agent offered, is that the entire professional fee for the entire transaction?
No, that's the listing side. Now you get clarification. That's the listing side.
And what is the fee that was agreed upon for the buy side?
We're not even talking about that yet.
Okay. Okay, and to 2% for the list side. And I'm curious, Denny, what's more important to you? The amount you pay in professional fee or the amount you net in your pocket at the end of the transaction?
Okay, well, he had already handled that. Where he was going with how he was going down the negotiated side.
Yeah, yeah.
So you might have missed that part, Louise. I thought you might have missed that part. But when there's the model is very pretty simple. If someone wants to negotiate on fee, or basically it's a fee discussion,
Oh,
that agent, yeah, hang on one second. That agent either came in at a higher fee and brought it down, or they came in at a lower fee. So now that you're tracking, Louise, what's the question?
Danny, I'm curious, what was the 2% the original amount the agent offered, or is that an amount that you negotiated with him?
Okay, so I'm going to give you the other side of this for after I do Louise. I'm going to give Louise the easy one. That's what they came in at a higher fee, but they did say they bring it down to 2%.
So you were able to negotiate their fee down to 2%.
Yeah. Yes, I was able to negotiate their fee down.
Okay. And I'm curious how well, if you don't mind me asking, how well do you think that they're going to negotiate offers that come in for you if they negotiated so quickly with you on their fee?
Now, this is exactly why I have in my logo, and you'll note, I hope it's on the cover of my book that comes out, Mastery of Real Estate, a chess piece. Because in chess, you've got to be thinking several moves ahead. Now, Louise's question was almost like the check. However, I'm positioning for checkmate. So what I would do then, this is just the way I would play it, is there's a question, I would set up that question. What would that question be? Remember, you want to lead them into you want to triangulate them so they don't have a way to wiggle. What's the question you can ask before that one?
Would you hire me if I was free?
Well, that's another whole concept. Where I'm tracking, guys, is this. Louise just reversed it. So let me ask you. So great job on negotiating your fee down. That just makes me think, when you hire an agent to represent you, do you want them to have a strong negotiation ability?
Absolutely.
Boom. You see that question sets up the other one. Y'all tracking with me, nod your head.
I have a written one.
Hang on just a second.
That was sneaky too. You congratulated them on performing well at a negotiation, and then you pointed out the other person didn't do so well, but you did it so subtly, so stealthily.
Yeah, that's kind of the chess. That's the mastery of it. Is you can get to the center of the Tootsie Pop by biting it, but you've got to like lick it a little bit. That's probably a bad analogy, but you know what I'm saying? You got to take your time to get there. All right, now that's the easy one. All right, negotiation. The agent came in, the seller negotiates. So Fan, this is your last time to shine here today. I'm going to give you the hard one. They came in at 2%. Now you can't use negotiating because that's their model.
Okay, so they came in 2%, and as I understanding, Danny, so we already went over the listing agent and buyer agent. So
that's all done. Yeah, yeah.
So what I understand is their common fee is 2%, right, Denny?
Right.
Okay. And I can't use negotiation.
Well, how can you? They didn't negotiate fee. That was their model.
I was gonna say, so understand they're just giving away 30% of the income.
No, that's their model. They charge 2%. That's their model. There's companies that do that. Anybody want to take it? Who wants to take it?
Yeah.
All right. So I say, wait a minute.
Tiffany.
Is it more important to you to pay an agent 2% or net more at the end of the sale?
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Okay, all right, so I'm going to be the seller. I'm going to be a little bit cranky. Well, if you charge 3% and sell it at X, and they charge 2% and sell it at X, I'm going to net more with 2%, right?
Well, I'm sure you would like to think that. But at 2%, how much less are you taking in the service that you get?
Well, let me ask you, if you had a chance to go to get gas, the gas station by your house, charge $3.30, but if you drive a mile away, they charge $3. What's wrong with getting it for $3?
There's nothing wrong for getting it for $3, but what if that gas was full of water? Which happens when you pay for something that is usually less, somewhere along the line, you're getting less.
Danny,
All
is
right.
this where you should ask them why they interviewing you so you can establish worth?
Or talk about the free agent. What if you
No,
were?
no. I think so. David, yes, so no, the free agent may be in a minute. No, all right. So David, I like it. So what would be the question? Okay, what would be a great question right there?
Why did they contact us, or why are they interviewing us?
Similar. Here's where David's going. Now, this is what I think he means. So I'm going to go to you, Fan. So let me ask you. The other guy said 2%. We've already agreed on positioning. So would you? Let's say I agreed on the 2%. Would you hire me then instead of the other agent?
Yes.
Boom. That's called that
Mhm.
trap. TRAP. Why would you hire me then instead of the other agent?
I think you're more qualified.
Okay, I'm going to let him go on for 45 minutes of telling me how great I am over the other agent, right? And then what you do is then you kind of like, I've been watching 1923. Well, I won't go into that. Anyway, then you're going to say, well, then all of those reasons, do you feel that might add value to your bottom line? See, David, that's where you were going with that. And again, the other avenue, it's a little bit more difficult. That's the easiest one. The more difficult one would be, okay, well, that would be their model then. Then the other thing is, okay, so what if an agent came in and offered 1%? Who would you hire? Well, probably the 1%. Who said the free thing a minute ago? Who said that?
I asked
David did? Said it to Louise? Okay, so all right, then I'm not going to do the talking here. Here, I want you to do this because you guys, my goal is to get you to believe in the better way, listing conversation. And I want you to know that you as a great listing agent are free to a seller. Then I'm going to say, Fan, okay, what if I said I would do it for free, legitimately do it for free? Would you hire me?
Yeah, I would go on that route as well. So
now, who can in a very compressed, we don't have to role play. What are the steps? And basically outlining how you're free. And let me give you a hint. It's putting the deli meat in the turkey slicer when you're at the counter and you're slicing the turkey. Who can walk through the steps with me real quick?
I can do it.
Fan. All right.
Can I?
Let's see if we can give the microphone to somebody else, okay?
All right.
Hang on. You might be the only one playing.
I think I can do it.
Gift's hand has been up. I don't know if she would like to.
Who? Gift?
Gift, yeah.
Yeah, Gift, you want? Just give me one of the slices.
I don't think I know that good on that slide, but I maybe okay. So Denny, I understand that money is important for you, but you already know how much I offer you with what we go through it. Think about this. You cut the price down by 10%, and then negotiation. I don't remember what the whole thing is. I think you cut the price down by 10%, then you negotiation another 1% or something like that.
Yeah. That's kind of what we're doing. We're going to come back. Your hands up. We're going to come back to you in a minute. What's the first slice of the turkey, guys?
Danny, were you aware that there's multiple points of negotiations between the beginning of the transaction and the closing?
Yeah, well, I didn't really think of it. What are they?
Do you think that where we position the property that you may be able to gain or lose a percent?
Okay, this is compressed, okay. What's the other one?
If we have to reposition the property, do you think that the right position may gain or lose a percent?
All right, there's another slice of turkey. What's another one?
Home inspection.
The
Right.
home inspection.
Home inspection's a slice of turkey. What else?
Yeah.
The buyers negotiate with their agent.
The negotiation of the price could be a slice, sure. You see, each one of these slices, you've got the initial positioning if you're talking about particularly the for sale by owner. But the initial is, do you think someone, if you're working with somebody who is a discount broker, they're working on volume. They have to have more business. It's kind of like you go to a Fleming steakhouse, they don't have a drive-through like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is a volume business. But you don't want a volume realtor. You want a realtor that's basically to work on your bottom line. And so positioning, the initial positioning, negotiating. If someone negotiates for a living, then you have the home inspection. All of those little things on any listing presentation. Hear me on this and get ready for the next one, Louise, because I feel like I'm doing too much talking. On any listing, you can do a better job than they can do. And if you're, whatever you're charging, 1, 2, 3, 5%, whatever you're charging to a point, they will save money by using you. Now I'm having some home repairs done on something I'm building, my man cave. Wait till you see my man cave. Now I hired a carpenter to put base trim in my house. I mean, in my man cave. They're doing it right now. And you think, and I watched them on my video, they got this saw and they're cutting these miter cuts and they're doing all, hey, look, I don't have a mechanical bone in my body. Could I do it? Yes. Could I save money doing it? Maybe, but the outcome wouldn't be too good. You hear what I'm saying? Do you believe in your heart of hearts because of what we do and the skill that we have? Listen, watching one episode or two of HGTV gives you knowledge, but it doesn't give you skill. So I want you to know you're free. Who's next, Louise? I think Gift's ready. What was your question, Gift?
My question is, I have the friends that just get engaged. And then her boyfriend, fiance, have also the best realtor. Now they go to the guy instead of me. I don't know what my position would do or how do I supposed to meet with her on Sunday. So how do I handle this situation?
So your friend is getting engaged, right?
Yes.
She's
And
a
then
buyer?
he's a seller. She's a seller.
Okay.
And then her fiance is also have the best friend realtor. And then
Oh, got it. All right. Who wants to handle this? And I do see too, Louise, there's someone here that wants to play for the first time. Who's that, Diane?
Diana. Mm-hmm.
All right, so you get ready. Take do some burpees or something, get ready.
Okay, this is not the response gift, but I'm going to say it because it's still April Fool's week and I'm still feeling silly. So gift, what you would not want to say to your friend is, why does your fiance get to choose who his friend instead of you over your friend? Is this going to be setting a precedent for your marriage? That's not what you would want to say.
Well, if we're going to be funny, you guys, here's a line you can use. And you can use this because you're dealing with a female, correct?
Mhm.
I would say, listen, when you're sitting there and you're talking to the fiance and your friend, the bride to be, I'd say, well, you know what? I kind of believe in the Jeff Foxworthy marriage philosophy. Well, what's that? Jeff Foxworthy says that, you know what, if your wife ain't happy, you're not going to be happy. And if she's unhappy long enough, you're going to be unhappy with half your stuff. So I would use the realtor she wants to use. That's a little bit of a loft. Okay, who wants to handle it legitimately? You've got the fiance and the other fiance sitting there. How do you handle it?
This morning we went
I
over.
don't know if I'm gonna meet with her fiance this Saturday. I might just meet with her, but you know,
Okay.
my thought is like, okay, so I want you to choose. Of course, I respect your decision. You can pick whoever you want to pick, but who gonna look out for your best interest than your best friend or something like that? And I also live in the same neighborhood with her. But I don't know why she just tell us that, oh, Tim gonna use his best friend to list the home. I'm very sorry.
So let's give her some advice. We don't have to role play it. What advice can you give her? What questions should she ask? Anybody have an advice for her?
I'm
One of the
curious.
chapters.
Tim wasn't your fiance's best friend. Who would you choose of the two agents?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, if Tim is not okay.
Who's next? Who's got another question?
Which
One of the
She
one?
said
chapters-
she said she lives in the community. Could she ask if Tim was familiar with the houses in the market the way that she is? Her experience, leverage that.
Okay.
What criteria are you going to use to choose the agents?
Whose
Yeah.
house
Other
is it?
than just being friends.
Whose house is it? His or hers?
It's her house.
Oh, so you
It's
mean
her- yeah.
he's gonna come in telling you what to do off the bat? This is gonna work out good.
Yeah,
Two-
whose
two
whose
things.
best friend? Whose best friend is best, right?
Two
Let
things
us know
from
how
the
that
exactly
works
what
out.
this.
Well,
things from
I
the
don't know
exactly-
if I consider her best friend. I'm just friend with her and then in the same neighborhood.
Hey, Gib, are you able to research the other agent and see how each of you compare?
That's
And then
another thing. I
about
don't know yet.
qualifications.
Yeah, I would try to find that out. Who is him before I go?
All right,
And-
let's go to Diana. Diana, what's your situation?
Okay,
A situation. I just wanted to do at the table and potluck.
Okay.
medium.
This is my first time, so, and I didn't know about the slides, so just bear with me.
It's okay. It's all right. So you're gonna be at the table with the seller, right, Diana?
Yes, correct.
All right, so they say I'm scary, so I'll let you do Louise.
Okay, so Louise, thank you so much for allowing me to present to you today. So are you ready to start working together?
Diana, I am so excited for us to work together. I would just like to know if we can list it a month from now instead of today.
Okay, Louise, and can I ask what's important about listing a month from now?
Yes, I just want to wait until the children are out of school.
Okay, that's totally understandable. A lot of people like to look for homes so that they can move in the summer. So would it not be fair to go ahead and list your home now? And that way we can start getting I don't know where to go with this. I'm so sorry.
You're so close, Diana.
Would it be okay to go ahead and list your home now so that we can start getting some people in to view it, and we can just put the availability for a later date out?
So Diana, are you telling me that there's a benefit to me listing now versus a month from now?
Yes, I am. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Okay, that makes
Yeah, there's
sense.
definitely benefits to listing now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Where do I sign?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I've been terrified.
So
Guys,
I'm
so
gonna
much.
give you an
Y'all are
applause.
fabulous. So I just want to say, like, thank you guys so much.
Well, thanks for being on and thanks for playing this. I get better. Plan on doing it again. Next, Louise. Who's next? We have time.
Beverly. Beverly is next, and her scenario is expired potluck medium.
So this is my first time. I've been on the call many times watching, but it's my first time actually playing.
It's like a
Well, I have
first time Friday.
Yeah, sorry
have
guys.
I have a question for you, Beverly. What has given you the courage to step in now?
I don't know, isn't it about time?
All right, Don's on, so Don's gonna be your expired at the table.
Okay,
Go.
okay. Okay, hey Don, so now that we went through everything, are you ready to move forward with me today?
Yeah, Beverly, I'm just a little concerned. I think you've kind of undervalued my home. I want a little bit more money.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say are two different things, right? You're other than undervaluing thinking that I undervalue your property, and is that separate from how I feel from you asking about more money? Are there two separate things that you're saying? I'm trying to understand what your
No,
objection is.
I just, you know, you're showing me here 700,000. I'd like 750.
Okay. Well, Don, other than that wanting 750, that exact number, is there any other reason why you wouldn't move forward with me today?
No, I got to get going.
Okay, so if we agreed on 750, you'd be ready to sign?
Yeah. Can you do that?
Okay, great. Well, sure, we can agree to do that. And Don, so now that we both agreed that we would work together, if we priced it at that number, can I share with you what possible outcomes could happen if we price it at that number?
All
Sure.
right,
Yeah,
so
there.
stop. All right, hang on.
Yeah.
I want you to change your name now from Beverly, and I can't say your last name. I want you to put Denny Jr.
Good job.
Because except for the little bit of the rough start there, you're
Yeah, in the beginning.
following the better way listing.
Yep.
It's Kazam, by the way. Kazam, like Alakazam.
Kazam.
Kazam. Well, I'm going to say Kazam. That was an
Yep.
awesome role play.
Thank
And
you.
the better way listing is now again, you don't take ownership. You tell here's the market range. Where would you like to position it initially? Where would you like to begin? 750.
Mhm.
The whole concept, I'm not going to go through the 14-minute thing. I'm going to send it to you. And there's some chat going on too about how they get the slides. So Louise, did you put the link in there for them to do that?
I'll put it in again. Yes.
And this will not be in there yet, but my other slides, the bull ride slides will be there. The better way is just simply this. Don't get into a tug of war with the seller on the initial positioning until after you get the commitment. And you almost had the words 100% word for word, Denny Jr. So nice job.
Thank you.
Well
Right.
done.
Who's next?
Let's see, who is next? It looks like we have David and Jesse. David went earlier, so let's go to Jesse and then come back to David if we have time. Jesse, is at the table with an expired potluck card.
Okay, it's me. Go.
Denny, we just did our presentation. Are you ready to put me to work?
I do like you. I am ready to list with you, but there's one concern I have, and that's basically of the valuation. I don't like your CMA that you presented. I don't think you're considering all the improvements, the sponge painting I've had, and the bird bath that I have in my living room. So, that's my concern.
Okay, so you don't agree with my CMA. Other than not agreeing with the CMA, is there anything else holding you back from hiring me today?
No, that's pretty big. I don't leave money on the table.
Sure, definitely. So you want to make as much money as possible. Tell me again what it was that I left out of my CMA, your bird bath, and what else?
Well, I mean, you're $50,000 off. in my
Okay.
opinion.
And I'm having a brain fart at the moment, sorry.
Okay.
I would handle it. Here's how we know where we are in the market. Gonna draw this on a piece of paper. If we're out of the market, we go 2 weeks with no showings. If we're in no man's land, this is 3 weeks where you get a handful of showings, maybe up to 9, no offers. If we're in the market, we will know that we should have 10 showings equals 1 offer. So we can definitely test at this price that you would like to test at, and we'll know pretty quickly where we fall, and I can advise you from there.
Now you use a sheet. That's the sheet you're using in your listing presentation, correct?
Yeah, it's basically from the shift book.
Yeah. Have you seen the 3 outcome sheet that we use?
No, I just opened the slides today.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Here's what the only thing, there's more than one way to do it. I'm not saying I'm the only way, and I'm the way. The issue I have with some of the things that have been said or used in the past is that there's a old concept out there. After 10 showings, you should, if they don't have an offer in 10 showings, you should have a price adjustment. How many people have seen that?
Yeah.
Well, then if you use that and you have not had 10 showings and it's been a year, I mean, are the sellers gonna say, well, wait a minute, you said that after 10 showings, we've only had 3. So they're not going to be ready to move until you get to 10. And, that may not happen. So that I don't like using numbers like that. I do like the conversation you did use that, hey, look, in 2 weeks. The only little difference between what you're using there and how I do it is that, okay, so on the 50, if we agree on the initial asking price, are we going to do business? Yes. Now, do you mind if I share with you what happens next? Just kind of like Beverly did it. The other thing is, let me ask you this, you don't mind me putting you on the spot, Jesse, when you do the listing presentation, do you give them a range?
Yes, I do like premium, fair, wholesale, and I learned it from Steve Schluter, the risk tolerance with the market and then the condition and all those relationships.
Then do you give them a price?
Yes.
And that's your price?
From the market analysis that I did, yes.
And you use the word I?
No, I don't like to give my opinion because that can be argued with.
Right, that's where so you can use, he uses a little bit different system, right? The only thing I don't want you to do, if you're going to do it my way, is do not use I. I think it should be here. This is what the market's showing. You have a wholesale range and blah, blah, blah. As long as you're talking about the market with no personal pronoun, I think you're okay. And we have time for David. So we have time. David, what's up?
Yes, I got to work on my FISBOs over the phone because every time on the weekdays, you guys say I mess it up. Like I'm asking their names and stuff like that, So.
All right. Well, go ahead. You're calling Don.
Okay, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello. Hey, I was calling about a house for sale by owner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
hey.
can I do?
Yeah, so I'm David. I'm a local realtor. I was just calling real quick. The house is still available, right?
Yeah, it is. Do you have a buyer?
Do I have a buyer? Well, I don't have a particular buyer right now. However, I was calling because, by the way, I'm David. I'm a local realtor here. I just wanted to call and see when you might be hiring an agent to help you find a buyer for that house.
Well, we just put on the market. That's really not a consideration of mine. I'll work with an agent, but I'm not listing it right now.
Okay, great. So you work with an agent who brings a buyer.
Sure.
Okay, got it. But you don't want to list it at this point.
Not yet. No.
Okay, cool. Do you know at what point you might consider hiring an agent?
I don't have a crystal ball in front of me, so I don't know.
Okay, got it. And when you sell this house, where are you moving next?
Well, we've got a property already. We're all set. We don't need an agent for that one, but thanks for asking.
Okay, awesome. Well, how soon do you want to get this house sold, ideally?
Well, I got a sign in the front of my yard and we'll open this weekend and you guys are all calling me, so I'm ready.
Okay, so I mean, as soon as possible, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. If you don't mind me asking, what made you not want to hire an agent to help you sell this house?
Well, I've actually done it before.
Okay, you've done it before, got it. And I mean, if you were to hire an agent, what would you expect from them?
I'm gonna stop you right now. So I want you to have some feedback. And so I think the pace was really good.
Yeah.
It was a for sale by owner. I just wonder, will a lot of the by owners give you that much time?
No.
You're going to have to ask the question you want to ask quicker. What do you really want to know?
What's the benefit, David? Why should I hire you?
Okay.
Time on the phone is not necessarily what you're looking for. You want to find out really pretty quick, if they're even open to having a conversation. And you didn't go down the buyer road. You kind of ignored that, which is great. So I hope that, the pace was great. Keep up the practice. I want to address Tiffany. Did you see the link? I'm sorry you applied or asked for the slides several times. I want to make sure this link works for you guys. Tiffany, have you put that, have you gone to the link yet and filled out the form?
Yes, I've done that several times and I don't receive it.
Have you done it today? Because we didn't know there was a glitch in the system. Have you done it today?
Yes, I have.
Okay. My email is coachdennygrimes@gmail. If you guys put that in there, coachdennygrimes@gmail, and the slides don't come back, let me know. If I have to individually send these to you, I will. But I was told it was working today. So Tiffany, sorry you had to go through all that.
No, you're fine. Thank you. I'll send you an email, sir. Thank you.
Anything else before we go? This is your time. I don't have to be off because it's my Zoom link. Anything else, you guys?
Yeah, can we identify the slices of the turkey? I'd like to capture that and put it in my notes
Slices of the turkey.
when
Okay.
discussing negotiation of fee.
The slice, if you're talking to a for sale by owner that's on the market and it's not sold, the first slice really for any seller is what price are they going to use? Notice I don't say position when I'm talking about them. What price are they going to put it at? Is it possible that they can misprice it by 0.1% or so? Then if they're not right, is it possible that they're repositioning or they're lowering the price, they miss it by 1% or so? Or if a by owner is on the market and they put it on the market and they have multiple offers, then what? They have a tiger by the tail. And this goes to the next slice of turkey, is the negotiation. They're negotiating most likely with a broker who's representing the buyer that's been working with them for 4 years and is probably a family member. How is that broker going to win? They're going to win by getting your house for less. Is it possible that you're negotiating for your own behalf, that you're going to negotiate it for a 0.5 point or a 1% less than you had somebody working for you? That was the first point of negotiation. The second point is, okay, if the appraisal comes in low, what's the first thing they're going to do? Is it possible you as an unrepresented, unexperienced seller may capitulate to a lower price that you would not have to by 1% or a 0.5%? You guys, how many of these, and then you have the inspection. You know, you've seen it before where the seller goes around following the inspector and the inspector saying, well, you got this, you got that. They, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. They take care of it themselves to death. Is it possible they're wasting money doing that? Every one of those is a slice of turkey that we help them with. You understand the metaphor, right? We're only attempting to minimize or eliminate what, 2%, 3%, or whatever your percentage is. There's a lot of opportunity right there. And oh, by the way, I'm not done. What about when they go in, particularly they're not going with the right agent or they're unassisted seller? And then how many times have we had transactions blow up, right? But we try to find out up front, but they don't have anybody looking out for them. They're 3 days away from moving and they've got the buyer's contract blows up and they've got their furniture all loaded up in a truck ready to move. You think that costs them money? Oh, by the way, they're going to have to hire someone, an attorney or someone to do the paperwork. Whew, I'm out of breath. Y'all feeling me here, guys? All of those things are part of the transaction that we do. And the biggest slice of turkey is the negotiation part. Mm-hmm. Does that help you guys?
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
Here's the bottom line is your appendix is, you can go online, there's a YouTube, you can go online and you can see where your appendix is right down here. And there's a do-it-yourself appendectomy. You go to Home Depot, you get a box cutter, a little alcohol, you cut yourself and go in there with tweezers and forceps. And you then, I mean, your wife or his husband's got to have a sewing kit somewhere. I mean, it's freaking simple. Am I being facetious? Yes.
Denny, do you think percent or point is better to use when speaking to a seller?
Percent. Thank you for bringing that up. They're going to think points like the March Madness basketball game that Florida State's going to win. University of Florida. Sorry.
Get the right school.
Yeah, I know. It's the right state.